Mataji, if anybody would like to start, Mataji?
Yeah, Mataji. Can I read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. No, Upendra protested. Let me finish making your medicine for you. As he continued his work, the sugar water thickened, leaving his hands, face, arms sticky. As sugar hardened, what happened?
Nothing, Mataji.
Crystallized. Prabhupada said nothing but watched and accepted the service of his foolish but sincere disciple. Perhaps certain activities cannot be called instructions; they are simply Leela. Upendra, at the Wilbur Street apartment, Prabhupada would sometimes go out on the back porch. It was very small, wasn't meant for a walk. Just for going down back street two levels, but the people in the apartment below us had a little park, dog park that would bark at any way who would come out above. The dog would run up the stairs to the next platform below and away with a shrill bark. Prabhupada would go out and stand on the little porch, insisting the dog's barking, and then ignore the dog. Then all of a sudden he would turn to the dog, raising his hands and making a scary face. What is this word, Mataji? Piquant. Okay, would become very frightened and would whimper and run down the street while Prabhupada would laugh. He did this a number of times like a young boy. He was very nice master. Chapter 2, Opening a Temple in Los Angeles, 1968. The building at 5364 West Pico Boulevard was a small storefront in middle class black neighborhood of Los Angeles. With his key, Aniruddha opened the rear window and Prabhupada entered, followed by few disciples. The room was struck a Brijbas print of Lord Krishna's sat atop on the altar, which was no more than two orange crates covered with the old maps. A tambura and mridanga on the end stood in one corner, and a curtain huge covered the front window. Prabhupada's seat, a simple raised platform, was the only furniture. Prabhupada, dressed in saffron robes and walking with a cane, crossed the room, opened the front door and stepped outside. Glancing up and down the street, he saw small run down house. It was a quite out of the way neighborhood, unlike the more vital location of his disciples had found in San Francisco. And oh my God, this. Manhattan's lower east side, but it was placed in the Los Angeles. I start. Prabhupada stepped back inside and shut door. Aniruddha, Dayananda, his wife Nandarani, their 3-week-old daughter Chandramukhi were there. The members of Los Angeles Temple. Several other devotees who had driven down a few days earlier from San Francisco were also there, stood anxiously around the Prabhupada's waiting to hear what he would say. Prabhupada looked around carefully. All right, he said, let us have a kirtan and pick up the mridanga. He sat down on the small platform while his disciples sat down before him on the floor. No sooner had began to play, however, Then when Janaki raced over to him carrying the tambura, Swamiji, she said, you cannot play the drums, you are not well enough play this. Her refrain was motherly. Prabhupada was 72 and only 6 months ago he had been hospitalized after heart attack and stroke. He had only recently returned from India, where he had gone naturally his disciples were concerned about his health. All right, Srila Prabhupada smiled, tendering instruments with Janaki. Then I will play tambura. As Srila Prabhupada softly plucked the metal strings, his disciples clapped 1, 2, 3 rhythm. Prabhupada chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. With his traditional Bengali melody, he lead the singing, joining with his disciples on these shows. Mataji, I would like to stop here. Please forgive me all the mistakes that I committed.
Thank you so much, Vinaya Mataji. Thank you so much, and no more mistakes, Mataji. It was very nice, and the singing is beautiful, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Very, very beautiful, Mataji singing. Very sweet.
Yes, Mataji, that's true. Mataji, anybody would like to go next, Mataji?
I should start from As Prabhupada's disciples, right?
Yes, Mataji, yes.
As Prabhupada's disciples sat earnestly chanting before him, some of them looking up to him, others singing with eyes closed, he looked at each disciple. Nervous, timid, Aniruddha was there. He blushed easily, and his bespectacled eyes squinted when he smiled. Tall, lean Dayanand was there. He had a job as a computer technician for RCA, and he was giving $200 monthly to support the temple and his wife, and started. Srila Prabhupada had been in India where Dayananda and Nandarani had moved to Los Angeles and found this little storefront. Immediately they had written to him about the new temple as the warm, sunny Los Angeles climate, which they said would be good for his health. He had expressed his eagerness to join them. I am pleased that our desire is fulfilled by the grace of Lord Krishna. Your specific duty is to chant and hear the transcendental name of the Lord. Read some passages from our English version of the Srimad Bhagavatam and Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Gita-Upanishad, and explain them as far as possible as you have heard from me. Any devotee who has developed genuine love for Krishna can also explain the truth about Krishna, because Krishna helps such a sincere devotee see it in his heart. Dayananda and Nandarani had written to Prabhupada that people in Los Angeles weren't as receptive as in San Francisco and New York, but Prabhupada had assured them that if they chanted with devotion, success would come. Krishna would help them. In his room at the Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavana, Prabhupada had meditated on sending young men and women like Dayananda and Nandarani all over the world to open Krishna conscious centers. Despite old age and ill health, this was his life's ambition, his single dominating desire. And in whatever time he had left, he wanted to establish the Krishna conscious movement throughout the world. His success in America over the past 2 years had given him hope. Mukunda had begun a temple in San Francisco. Kirtanananda had begun in Montreal. Satswarup in Boston. Subal in Santa Fe, and Brahmananda had stayed in New York. These temples were storefronts only, and the leaders young, inexperienced men. But the Western youth were showing interest. There was a great potential. After the Kirtan, Dayanand drove Prabhupada to his apartment 2 miles away. It was a small storefront room, a kitchenette, a back room with a tiny bathroom, and noisy. Aniruddha had arranged for Gaur Sundar and his wife Govindadasi who were acting as Prabhupada's servant and secretary, to stay in the front room. Hare Krishna. Please continue.
Thank you, Preeti Mataji. So I see Praneshwari Mataji, Laltangi Radha Devi Mataji. Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai. Mataji, would you like to go, Mataji?
Please accept my humble obeisances, Mataji. All those Krishna Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Yes, Mataji, I can read. So Prabhupada said his health is from there, right?
Yes, Mataji. Mataji, can you be a little bit louder, Mataji?
Yeah. Prabhupada said his health was still not good. His sleep was often disturbed, and he spoke of a gong, gong, gong sound in his head. He had occasional headaches and a ringing in his left ear. An Ayurvedic doctor in India had told him to take cinnamon buds, and he had seen a doctor in San Francisco, but the doctor's prescriptions had not helped. I may inform you in that connection that I am at the present moment physically unfit. I am having always a buzzing sound in my brain. I cannot sleep at night, but still I am working because I try to be on my position of spiritual platform. Prabhupada was in good spirits. However, despite his age and lingering sickness, he appeared strong, and 6 months in India had tanned him in a golden, healthy hue. Yeah, can you go up? Yeah, thank you, Mataji. He always sat straight and smiled often. He walked with a cane, yet upright, with a quick step, tiring his young disciples who attempted to keep up with him. He even mentioned that if his inability to sleep continued, he would have more time for writing his books. Gone was the mindlessness of his young followers, who had previously thought that Swamiji, because he was a pure devotee, should be led to do any strenuous activities he liked, working all night or singing and playing the mridanga for hours in the park. Now the devotees had become concerned and protective, trying always to arrange for his ease, suggesting when they thought something was too strenuous for him. Usually, however, Prabhupada would give the last word on what he would or would not do. When Yamuna and Janaki arrived from San Francisco, they decided that if Swamiji were to get well, he would require a special diet. So they devised a regimen featuring small servings of boiled vegetables without salt, spices or ghee. At first, Prabhupada gently submitted to their request. But on trying their meals, he commented, "These vegetables are nasty. They are not fit for eating." After 3 days, when Govindadasi told him of some new reductions in his diet, he wrote, "Let the starvation committee go to hell. You feed me." Again, Prabhupada began taking his regular lunch dal, rice, chapatis and a couple of sabjis with ghee. One day when Govindadasi brought him his lunch, he commented, "Oh, this is very nice. When I was in India, everyone told me, 'Oh Swamiji, you cannot go to America, you will starve there. They have no food. They eat only meats and potatoes.' So I said, 'What is that? I shall live on bread and potatoes. There is no problem. I can survive on bread and potatoes.' So I was thinking like that when I came to your country, that I shall live on bread and potatoes, but now I have come here and Krishna is so kind. He has not only given me everything in the way of nice food, but you are also cooking all sorts of nice vegetable preparations, chapatis, dal, rice. Everything is here. So this is Krishna's kindness." Hare Krishna. I'll stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Laltangi Mataji. Mataji, anybody would like to go next? Praneshwari Mataji.
Yes, I'll read, Mataji.
Hi, Mataji.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, I can hear you.
Okay. Although when Prabhupada had first arrived in America, he had been alone and had difficulty finding even a single sincere person. Now his new position in the same spirit as now he was surrounded by sincere students eager to learn from him. Still, he accepted this new position in the same spirit as he had accepted the lonely months in New York City. He was doing his beloved duty to a spiritual master, writing books, seeking to engage others in the Krishna consciousness mission, and speaking about Krishna always. Sometimes, as Prabhupada would shuffle through the apartment in his slippers, he would see Gaurasundara and Govinda Dasi seated in the kitchen table practicing their first lessons in the Bengali alphabet. He had given them a Bengali verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita to memorize, and regularly he would drill them to see if they knew it. Vande Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I can't read that. I can't read it. Is that Nityanando Sahoditam Dito Gandodaya Pushpayantam Chitramsam Do Tamo Nido. Can't read it, sorry. Looking over their shoulders, Prabhupada remarked, "This very nice, just like a child is learning to write. His writing may not be perfect, it may be crooked or imperfect, but the teacher wants to see that students are trying. It doesn't matter how well they are doing, but just that they are fully engaged. So it is just like our service to Krishna. What can we do for Krishna? Krishna is everything. He doesn't need our service, but he wants to see that we are trying. We are trying a little bit to give him service. That is the whole idea." Okay. It was only 4 days after Prabhupada's arrival. He had just risen from an afternoon's rest, walked into the front room, and there was Subala. Prabhupada was surprised. Subala was supposed to be in Santa Fe. "My wife has left me," Subala burst out, and a sad tale followed. Subala told how he had left his wife, Krishna Devi Dasi, alone at the Santa Fe temple for a few days and gone to New York to visit his parents. Meanwhile, Krishna Devi had run away with a boy who had been visiting the temple, and she had decided to stay with him and give up her husband. "Don't worry," Prabhupada told Subala. "Everything will be all right. I will write a letter to Krishna Devi and tell her to come back to you. You can go back to Santa Fe tomorrow, and everything will be all right." Subala left the next morning for Santa Fe, and Prabhupada, although calm in Subala's presence, began to show deep disturbance over the sordid affair. Krishna Devi was his disciple, and he had performed the sacred marriage ceremony for her and Subala. He had asked them to be an ideal couple, cooperating together in Krishna consciousness. Together they had gone to start the center in New Mexico. Don't be discouraged," he told them. "Even though no one may come to hear you, still you chant in here." But now Krishna Devi had simply left the temple and her husband. When Subala arrived in Santa Fe, he found that Krishna Devi and her boyfriend Randy had left town. Meanwhile, in Los Angeles, Prabhupada received a letter from Krishna Devi. She said she wanted to stay in Krishna consciousness, but with her new boyfriend. "This is all nonsense," Prabhupada explained. "I will simply go back to Vrindavan and sit and chant Hare Krishna. Why should I do this? Why should I deal with this quarrel between husband and wife? This is not the business of a sannyasi." Prabhupada wrote a letter to Krishna Devi in care of the Santa Fe temple. "Your recent activities have been very much upsetting to each and every member of our society. I never expected that you shall act in this way. If you love me at all and Krishna at all, you should immediately return back, either to me or to your husband without delay. In your letter, it is understood that you are repenting. You have done a great mistake. Come back and everything will be all right." To Subala, Prabhupada wrote, "I am very sorry to learn about your present plight. You must be feeling a great shock for the separation. But there is a great lesson also. Anyway, if you are feeling too heavy-hearted, you may come here and live with me for some time. I hope I shall be able to ease your heaviness." But before Prabhupada's letter arrived, Subala had already left Santa Fe for Los Angeles, thinking, "I can't take this anymore. I'm going back to Swamiji." Sitting on his porch, taking his routine massage, Prabhupada suddenly saw Subala looking more miserable than ever. coming up the sidewalk. Subala, Prabhupada called out, remaining seated. Subala approached and offered obeisances before Srila Prabhupada, who sat in the California sunshine and dressed only in an Indian gamsha. While Gauda Sundara massaged him with mustard oil. Why did you not get my letter? Prabhupada asked. No, Subala replied. Yes, Prabhupada nodded. You have got my letter. I have written you and told you if you are feeling too heavy-hearted, you may come here and live with me for some time. Subala, so I moved into the crowded front room of Swamiji's temple. I slept in the living room, right outside of Swamiji's room, and there was only a curtain separating us. At night, I could hear him dictating Srimad Bhagavatam. He asked me to carve some Radha Krishna deities for him. I had already carved some Jagannath deities, and now Swamiji said he wanted Radha Krishna deities carved. So I had a block of mahogany and began carving Radha Krishna. I'll stop there, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Praneshwari Mataji. Mataji, would anybody like to go next? Okay, I think I can go. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada wrote to Raya Rama in New York that his editing of the Bhagavad Gita manuscript was nearing completion. When Prabhupada read Raya Rama's letter, he exploded. Nearing completion, I heard this before. I started for India. Raya Rama's slow editing was delaying the manuscript too much. Although the contract with the Macmillan company had already been signed, the manuscript had still not been submitted. Seeing Raya Rama's editing as a perpetual delay, Prabhupada decided Raya Rama should immediately stop all other duties and come to Los Angeles. After a few days, Raya Rama arrived. He too settled into the crowded front room of Swamiji's tiny apartment, picking a corner for himself where he could work on the Bhagavad Gita manuscript. After having spoken in the temple in Swamiji's presence, one night Raya Rama rode home to the devotees in the New York. Although his health is delicate, he is not to be held back. After all that activity last night, he continued talking to us when we returned, and then got up at 2:30 a.m. this morning and worked for 3 hours. He just returned now from a 2.5-mile morning walk, so he is not exactly weak or failing. And if we say anything to check him, he tells that his life has no value if it is not used for Krishna. Last week, Garga Muni was telling Swamiji that he sometimes dreams of how to sell things, and Swamiji said that he also dreams of preaching. But he told us last night that when he is speaking of Krishna, there is no pain. One day, on a walk, Prabhupada discovered a special place across the street from his apartment. There, on a neighbor's front lawn, stood a broad, tall tree. Taking a few disciples with him, Prabhupada went over and sat down beneath the tree. On a warm Los Angeles afternoon, this was a great but simple luxury, sitting in the pleasant sunny atmosphere beneath the shade tree. Raya Rama considered the occasion something to write to the devotees in the New York about it. This afternoon I took a stroll to the temple, which is some distance away, and when I returned I found Swamiji crossing the street from his house, accompanied by Gauda Sundara. So I trailed them up close. Swamiji took his seat under a big oak tree which grows close by our house across the street. Meditation under a tree is very nice, he said after a few minutes. As we sat there, other devotees came and joined us, all sitting around Swamiji on some unknown person's lawn under the tree. Therefore, in former times, sages used to sit themselves under trees and teach. I know that I am a worthless fool. Here I sit at Swamiji's feet, and my tears aren't flowing or my heart breaking with joy. But even for a fool, Swamiji's presence is intoxicating in the extreme. So, Mataji, I would like to stop here for today's session. And thank you so much to each and every Mataji for reading this Lilamrta, very nectarian reading. So now shall we have our reflections, Mataji? I would like to...
Hi Krishna Mataji, I joined late. Can I read Mataji?
Oh, sorry, Mataji, Priti Mataji. Yeah, please,
sorry Mataji. Yeah.
Please.
Thank you Mataji.
Yeah.
Hi Krishna. Swamiji said that saintly persons in India often sat under trees and even lived there with no other shelter. The 6 Goswamis who wrote books under the order of Lord Chaitanya lived that this way in Vrindavan, staying each night under a different tree and compiling sublime Sanskrit literatures. Hearing Swamiji speak on such transcendental subject in this setting fit perfectly the devotees. Idle notions of the Guru beneath an ancient towering banyan tree in India. It didn't seem to them that they were sitting in an ordinary neighborhood of Los Angeles. Often, Aniruddha would return to the apartment after shopping or errands, and he would see from afar this gorgeous-looking saffron-robed person sitting there and on the grassy lawn. One day, as Subala, Govinda Dasa, Rai Rama, and others sat with Prabhupada in the shade, Prabhupada observed a pair of white butterflies. Just see these worms, he said, pointing to the butterflies. Here also there is husband and wife. The whole world is in this bondage. Knowing Subala was still lamenting, Prabhupada continued to speak about the topic on both their minds. It is not so wonderful that Krishna Devi has left, he said. What is wonderful is that we are able to stay and serve Krishna. The Maya is so strong. Uh, it is Krishna's divine energy, and for someone to actually stay engaged in Krishna's service is very rare. The living entity is practically helpless under the sway of Maya's power and can only cry out to Krishna for help. But we have to pray at every moment that the power of Maya does not disturb us. Sabala continued to live with Prabhupada, cooking for him, tending to his personal needs, and carving deities of Radha and Krishna. Prabhupada wrote Krishna Devi again. Your husband Shriman Subala Das is living with me very peacefully, and he is carving Radha and Krishna from hardwood. So this life of material existence is just like hardwood, and if we can carve Krishna out of it, that is the success of our life. Very bold. So at any circumstance, you must not forget Krishna. I love you at my heart, and therefore I gave you the name Krishna Devi Dasi. Don't forget Krishna even for a single moment. Chant Hare Krishna loudly or slowly as it may be convenient. But don't forget to chant the holy name. I hope everything will be all right as soon as you come here with Randy, and I am waiting your arrival with great interest. Hare Krishna Mataji. I would like to stop here.
Thank you so much, Sita Priti Mataji. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, now I request to share our realizations, Mataji. So, we shall start with Priti Mataji, Vinaya Mataji, Praneshwari Mataji, Lalitangi Mataji, Sita Priti Mataji. So, can you please sharing your realizations, Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Yeah, Mataji. Very beautiful session. Everyone read a question. Two things that stuck in my mind was first Prabhupada's interaction with that dog, like a kid. That was very sweet. And I'm so glad that Sita Priti Mataji joined late today because she could read that last part. I thought that was very heart-touching. Prabhupada wrote a letter to her and told her, everyone, in our life, when we carve out a deity of Krishna, that is the success of our life. And very lovingly, he wrote a letter to her saying that please try to chant Hare Krishna when it is convenient for you, and everything will be all right. Very nice, Mataji. How nice, right? The Guru is always interested in the welfare of the disciple. Beautiful section. And there are so many other things, but then I'll let all of you speak and hear from you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you, Priti Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna Mataji. I just read the half part. I was in a call, so I couldn't join. Sorry. But when you read Srila Prabhupada's any letters or any when he's addressing it to someone, don't you feel that it's just addressing it to you, and you feel that no, this is only for me that he's talking? maybe he's like addressing it to anyone, but it always feels that he's talking to us and he's instructing us on something. Well, that last part was like, it just brings tears when you are reading and you feel that he's just talking to you some of your queries, and that only he's answering them. Thank you, Mataji, for giving this opportunity to read. Thank you again.
Yes, very true, Mataji, as you said. Yeah, every instructions, every word. I too feel the same thing. He is giving instructions directly to our disciples. Whoever reads, we will feel Mataji. That is true. Thank you so much, Asita Priti Mataji, for sharing this realization and joining and reading with us, Mataji. It was so pleasure to have you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I may have to log out in 5 minutes.
Okay.
Shall I share, Mataji, or anyone wants to?
No, please go ahead, Mataji.
Yeah, as Preeti Lakshmi Mataji says, it's a very, very beautiful session. And two things is how Prabhupada is telling that he has the buzzing sound in the brain and the ringing sound in the ears, and there are headaches, and still he is trying to, although his physical health is not okay, he is trying to be in the spiritual position. So I remember Guru Maharaj, Jayapatak Maharaj used to say this, that whenever someone said that you having so many physical problems and you're still continuing to chant, continuing to preach, especially travel and preach. So he said that Prabhupada was paralyzed after the thing from neck down. Nothing under the neck was moving or working, but still he was talking and preaching. So I could remember that, how Guru Maharaj said that, and this here we can see that how Prabhupada is trying to be in a spiritual position. And he is writing that don't forget Krishna for a moment, and also so many instances in this short reading, how he is remembering Krishna in each and every instance. So he said he was thinking that he had to subsist on bread and potatoes. Never mind, he would do that. Even that's a great thing, for us in this age. I was thinking our comfort food, what we are used to, if we are not getting it for some time, that's a main botheration. But at the age of 70, he was trying to come here and ready to subsist on bread and potatoes. That itself it shows how he is transcendental. And then he sees that when devotees are cooking and bringing for him, he says that this is Krishna's arrangement. Krishna has arranged this for me. And one more place also he says that this is Krishna. I mean, it's an ordinary thing, but he sees throughout. We can see that how he is seeing Krishna's presence behind everything that's happening around him, and his vision is so transcendental. Yeah, it was very nice reading with you all. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Lalitangi Mataji. Yes, Mataji, as you told, it is very transcendental, and yes, Prabhupada sees everywhere and each and every moment as Krishna's moment, and each and every place as Krishna's place. That is true, Mataji. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining this session, sharing your realizations and giving your association, Mataji. It was so nice to have you on the call, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji, for all your association and continuing to read this wonderful life history of Srila Prabhupada. I really have to thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for this opportunity. All your blessings I can continue, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. So, Mataji, Praneshwari Mataji, Avinya Mataji, can you please share, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you again also, as Lalitangi Mataji, for continuing this reading. The two thoughts that came into my mind as we were reading was, Prabhupada, as Lalitangi Mataji was saying, that he had buzzing in his ears and he wasn't able to sleep and stuff. And Prabhupada says, it's okay if I'm not able to sleep less, if I have to sleep less, because then I can write more. So even something that is negative, that we would generally think of as a hindrance or a botheration, he sees it in light of how can I even use this in my Krishna service. So even if I cannot sleep, that's fine. I have more time to translate. So that was one thing that stuck in my mind. And also Prabhupada's position as he's sannyasi and teacher, and he's also father and guide, because
counselor, marriage counselor.
Marriage counselor, and he's. I mean, we can just imagine what kind of what thoughts are going through his head, because he comes from a culture where marriage is for life and it's not taken so lightly, and yet he comes here and they just seem to leave, for some issue or another, and just leave with somebody else. So so he's just very upset about how can this happen. Upset, I think it seems to me, because of what he said, is because he had performed the marriage ceremony in front of the yajna, in front of the fire sacrifice. He did a Vedic ceremony, and he figured, and he felt that was for life. But obviously the disciples didn't have that same understanding of the seriousness of it. So that was one thought in his head. And at the other side, he was thinking, he writes a letter to Krishna Devi, and says, come back to me. Come to me, like a father, come back to me. Everything will be okay. And then to Subala also, if it's too difficult for you, come back to me. Like, I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you guys. I'll fix this. So that whole mood of such loving compassion. And then finally, at the end of the last letter he writes, he tells her, first he had told her, come back to New Mexico to your husband. And then the last one he said, come back, you and Randy both come back. And, so Prabhupada is willing to somehow or other make everybody, make it all better, and at least continue chanting. I mean, Priti Vilasini was saying that last line. I also really, really like that last line where he says that it's like hardwood, that this material life is like hardwood, and somehow carve out Krishna. So, he's trying to show that practically by telling them, just come back and at least chant Hare Krishna, put Krishna in your life, and everything will be fine. So that was just very, 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 very loving of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Praneshwari Mataji. I completely agree. One point you are telling that whatever Prabhupada is having the buzzing sound in his head, and because of this inconvenience or because of this restlessness, he cannot sleep properly, and he is utilizing this time in Krishna consciousness by dictating for Srimad Bhagavatam, all these dreams. So while I am reading also, I remember Mataji, once in our devotees, Vinaya told that she cannot sleep. So I remember while reading, I remember Vinaya only. I cannot sleep, so that's why I am utilizing this time in chanting and doing services. So it is very nice, Mataji. Material world, when we go or submit our any kind of application, we write our strengths and weaknesses. So to impress the person who is giving the job, we make the weaknesses into a strength and show them that we can utilize for your job, whatever we are doing. Our weaknesses also. In the same way, in spiritual world also, whatever we can have the weakness, so that weakness also we are utilizing for Krishna. That is very excellent point, Mataji. It was very striking for me, Mataji. Thank you so much, Praneshwari Mataji, for highlighting that. And thank you for the realizations too, Mataji. It was very nice, Mataji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
And thank you, Supriya Mataji, for glorifying Vinaya Mataji. 100% agree with every word you said.
Yes, Mataji. Once I am talking to Vinaya and I heard that I cannot sleep, and she was very wisely utilizing her time in Krishna consciousness. I was very much impressed and got kind of what we can say inspiration, how she is utilizing her time.
And there has not been a single day she has missed the 420.
Yeah.
And she's the first one to say, okay, join for chanting. So far, since it has started, not a single day she has missed. And she will start correctly at 4:20, and then she'll finish around She will do her service. I've never seen her skip a single service in her life.
Yes, yes, that's what Mataji, that's what. She's telling, I cannot sleep, and in the same way, she is that time she is telling for Krishna. It is very,
Yeah.
very effective way of doing our time and utilizing this in Krishna service.
And yeah, the that eagerness that is there in continuously working with the determination, continuously every second, right? Utilizing it in some way or the other, doing YouTube upload or whatever. I mean, I cannot even imagine. Yeah, like how can a person do more than like 300, 400 videos that are shot within a short span of 1.5 months? It's all so unimaginable.
Yes.
So I was just thinking that is all superhuman. That's why Krishna's devotees are so special.
Yes, that is true, Mataji. Whenever Prabhupada is telling I cannot sleep and I am translating, I am using this time, I got again Vinaya's words and I remembered Vinaya Mataji. That is true.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol Mataji, this is all because of Prabhupada and Kalasudha Mataji. All glories to Kalasudha Mataji. Thank you. And all the other devotees who have empowered me, who motivated me, to do all this. This is all because of your all association Mataji. Hare Bol.
Yeah, but implementing is very hard, Mataji. We can, however, motivate, but implementing the whatever you get the instructions is very nice, Mataji. It's very inspiring.
Thank you, Mataji. All glories to Bhakti Sangha, Mataji. Hare Bol.
Yes,
thank you so much, Mataji. Please bless me. Please needed all your blessings so that I can continue and do more and services, Mataji. That is only my desire to serve all of you, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes, Mataji. Krishna will definitely empower you. Yes, Mataji, sir. So I think we all shared, Mataji. So Vinaya Mataji, can you please share, Mataji, your realization?
Yeah, very beautiful discussion, Mataji. Today I don't wanted to share. I just wanted to hear from all of you, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was very beautiful reading as usual, Mataji. Hari Bol. And that especially that Prabhupada was, trying to tease the dog. That really made me laugh. I remember how in the especially boys does it, right? I remembered my childhood days. Boys are more naughtier than girls, running behind the dog and all these things. Usually boys does it. So I really felt it so nice when Prabhupada is saying about that, and it was very nice, Mataji. It was very, very nice.
Yeah, yes, Mataji. Yes. Thank you, Mataji. So I think I have to share, Mataji. So as each and every Mataji is sharing, they share most of the points of today's lecture. Only few points are left for me. I would like to share those. So now we have seen that in one paragraph, Prabhupada is telling how his disciples are spread across America and doing the temple service on their best, whatever they can do. So he's telling that over past 2 years, Mukunda had begun a temple in San Francisco, Kirtanananda had begun in Montreal, Satswarupa in Boston, then Subala in Santa Fe, Brahmananda in New York. So he's telling that these are all kind of storefronts with young leaders, and yet they are not that much good experience. But because of their Western youth showing so much interest, he's telling that Prabhupada is telling that they had a great potential to start all this in across whole America. And from there we can see because of Prabhupada's little bit of disturbances and headaches, how doctor is suggesting the medicine and how it's not working, and we can see that Prabhupada doesn't have any faith in our allopathic doctors. So he got some kind of cinnamon buds to put in the ears, and he got the doctor's prescription too at the San Francisco, but we have seen in the previous chapters also that Prabhupada had least importance or least interest in whatever prescription doctors given. So we can see all these things also. And from there, because of his illness, how the devotees, how Govinda Dasi is giving food, like just we can see that steaming the vegetables. They want to give some kind of good energy to Prabhupada, so they are avoiding all kind of spices, salt, ghee, everything they avoided, and they are just giving the boiled potatoes or steamed vegetables. So Prabhupada is telling, finally eating all these stuff, I don't want these kind of any boiled vegetables. So he's telling, let the starvation committee go to hell. You feed me. I was just laughing. So he went again to his routine diet of having daily like dal, rice, chapati, like that, and a couple of sabjis with ghee. So it was very funny. So he's telling that all the starvation committee go to hell. Then again moving down, we can see how they are preparing again the food very nicely. Before coming to America, as Laltangi Mataji told that Prabhupada and other people would think that mostly in the Western countries people will eat only bread and potatoes. But after seeing and coming here, so he was very much pleased by Krishna's mercy. So he can get all kind of vegetables preparation, and he could again have or get his own meal, or again his routine meal, whatever he used to take in India. So he's seeing this also has Krishna's blessings. And down moving there, we can see how there is a means how he's trying to train Gaura Sundara and Govinda Dasi in alphabet, Bengali alphabets, how he is trying to drill them down and how he is trying to make them learn the verses of Chaitanya Chaitamrita, I believe so. So then again moving down, we can see it's a kind of broke down between Subala and his wife Krishna Devi Dasi, how Subala was depressed and how Krishna Devi Dasi left her husband, ran away with her boyfriend, and how Subala made this point to Srila Prabhupada, and we have seen how Srila Prabhupada beautifully not to disturb their or not to hurt their ego, and again bringing back them to the same platform, Krishna consciousness platform, making the Krishna as center and settling all the disputes in a very calm, quiet and a spiritual manner. So we can see nowadays counselors, how they project one's weaknesses or strength of the two people and how they kind to merge the relationship. But we can see how the spiritual way Srila Prabhupada is merging the relationship between, or how he is making both the Shubala and Krishna Devi Dasi, making them calm down and dealing with a very gentle, very delicate way, not to break the relation completely between the two. And he also invited Randy to come to the place and stay there. And finally he is telling that how we can see Subala is carving the deities of Krishna. So in that way we have to carve our life so that Krishna will be in the center of our lives. And we can see how gently, how very politely he's writing to Krishna Devi Dasi. I have written once, but I could not get any kind of reply. But I am writing this as your father because I like you very much deep down from my heart. That's why I gave you the name of Krishna Devi Dasi. So please come back with your friend Randy. We can settle the issue. So we can see how delicate issues are being settled by Prabhupada. Before that, Prabhupada is feeling that he is also very heavy-hearted for the breakdown of this couple. So we have seen this very fantastic how Srila Prabhupada is, as Praneshwari Mataji told, he is like in every aspect of the life he is dealing with each and every problem in a very delicate, in a sensible manner he is dealing. We can see that. Yes, Mataji, sir, that is very heart touching to see that. And most of it is covered, Mataji. I think everybody covered. So this is the realizations today I got in my thing, Mataji, after reading this. So if there anything, please feel free to share, Mataji, more. Thank you so much for this opportunity. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, wonderful, wonderful summarization. When you were talking, I just, I don't know, you all must be doing it, but I think after the realizations when we are reading it, when somebody else is reading it, we should write it down, right?
Yes,
And
ma'am.
then we can have this. I am sure you must be doing that, because that day, 2-3 weeks back, I had a paper and I was writing it down as everybody was reading. Because at the end of the reading, then you tend to forget the points. By your summarization, we definitely get back to it. But it is so nice if we can maintain a diary or something and then write down the realizations.
Yes, Mataji. I do, Mataji. I do.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Because of your reading, I just thought that I'll also start doing
From
it.
starting of Lilamrta, I keep a book, Mataji.
Wow.
Whatever points everyone, because everyone is reading, so I write down the points in my book, Mataji, but it is like a scrambled way, Mataji, but I write down the points so that I can give a summary at the end, Mataji.
That's very nice, Mataji. Very nice, very nice. Thank you, Mataji.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji, for giving this point.
Hi,
So,
Hi, Krishna.
so Mataji, so I would like to stop recording, Mataji, and I have some personal questions, so I would like to ask Mataji.